You're now live.
Hey everybody, we are live, Joey's telling me, so we're going to go ahead and get this week's call started. It's week 3 officially in the group. I know a lot of people are kind of on different schedules, but it's officially week 3. So we're going to start, we're going to run down a list of some accomplishments. I know weight loss is great, and obviously that's what a lot of people focus on in the group, but I kind of wanted to try and focus on a little bit more than just the numbers this week. So we asked for just any accomplishment that you felt like you were having this week. So I'm going to go ahead and run down the list real quick. Kimberly Ferguson, she joined a gym. She's been working out early in the morning, which we all know is a pretty huge accomplishment. Katrina Knox has lost 4 pounds this week. That's huge for her. I know she's been really working hard. Let's see, Leah McCord has been adding push-ups, and she's getting better at them and feeling strong doing them, so that's good. Katie Rogers ran 1.5 miles, and she said it didn't seem like a lot or sound like a lot, but I think any of us that have ran know that 1.5 miles, especially the first time you do that, is something to be pretty proud of, so congrats there. Mandy Wendell said she bought a large shirt this week instead of an extra large or double XL, and that's a great feeling too. She also has been smoke-free and Diet Coke-free for 3 weeks, and that's huge. So congratulations on that for sure. Let's see. Next, we've got Julia Feldman. She's down 9 pounds since January 6th. Awesome job, Julia. Melanie, I'm going to jack this one up, so if anybody wants to help me. Melanie Dufresne, maybe? We're going to go with that. Said she bought a size 14 instead of a size 16. Congrats on that. Angela Loggy, down 8 pounds in 2 weeks and feeling really good about her macros. Starting to get a handle on that, so that's a good thing. Stick with it. A couple weeks. Generally, it seems very overwhelming at the beginning, but once you get going with it, those macros aren't really as intimidating as they seem when you first start. So we got Coach Megan Mitera. She has got a small group of her own with a bunch of ladies in it, and they're rocking it. I got to tell you, I'm part of that group. I think I'm the only guy in the group that kind of watch, and they're super motivated group of ladies, and they're awesome. As a group, they've lost 15 pounds this week. They're all talking about how much stronger and how much better they feel. They're supporting each other in the struggles and that. So everybody in Megan's group, if you're listening, congrats. Keep up the good work. Let's see. Kimberly Ferguson said she's been Diet Coke free for a month. She slipped up this week and had one, and she said it tasted terrible. That's what we like to hear. I remember trying a soda for the first time after I quit, and it was just, I couldn't believe how bad it tasted. So that's great that it tasted bad, and hopefully you don't go back to it. So let's see, a couple more here. We've got Sarah Ulrich, no Diet Coke for 26 days. That's awesome. And the last one on my list here that I've got is Emily Davis. Said she set a PR, 150-pound PR in overhead squats. I don't do overhead squats, but I'm guessing that's pretty impressive. So I don't know if I would want to try that. So so that's my list. Congratulations, everyone. Doing great. And those are the things that we like to hear. Like I say, weight loss is awesome. Obviously, you know, it's typically what drives most of us is trying to lose weight. But it's great that we can find motivation and inspiration in things other than a number on a scale. So everybody that shared, congratulations. If you didn't share yet and you want to, go ahead and share in the post, put it on the wall, and we'll congratulate you. So other than that, Joey, you said nobody had updated the weight loss?
Nope.
Okay.
So we're all caught up.
Okay. No other shout-outs anybody want to give? Anybody that I didn't mention that you can think of? Maybe somebody on your team that you want to give a special shout-out to that you know is doing good and I didn't say their name? Steve, you got anybody? No? No? Okay. Nothing? All right. Okay, so I've got one subject. I've got a couple things that I want to talk about. I was actually going to post a video Saturday, and I just never got around to making it. So I figured I'd go ahead and share it tonight, and then one other thing that I want to talk about, and then we'll see if anybody else has got anything. We'll try and keep the call short, though. First things first, I see a lot of people talking about not hitting their macros or not hitting their calories. They're really worried about going over their calories or being under their calories. Your calorie goal and your macro goals are not a line in the sand. It's not something that you have to get to right at, or that you can't cross, or if you go way over, it's a bad thing. It's all a guide. So keep that in mind. Bless you, Alan. Bless you, Alan. Keep that in mind. Don't beat yourself up because you're 150 calories short one day, or because your macros were supposed to be 50, 30, 20, and you got 48, 32, 20, or something crazy like that. It's not a definite line in the sand. So just get as close as you can. It's kind of like your workouts. Do your best. Forget the rest. Don't beat yourself up for it. You're trying, and that's what really counts. So I see Tucker. Is that Tucker? Yeah. So sorry, distracted by kids down here. So that was one of the things. Like I said, I was going to make a video, and that's a pretty quick one. Just have some patience with yourself and understand that it's not about being perfect every single day. Anybody have anything that you want to add to that at all?
If you're having troubles, the top priority is always your calorie goal, and then if you can make your macros close, that then even better. And like for me right now, I'm trying to gain weight. I'm doing 25, 50, 25 protein, carbs, and fat. Really I'm shooting for, about 25% protein, and then I say if my fat's anywhere in 20 to 30%, I'm good, and then the rest of it comes from carbs. So I mean, there, like Steve said, there's not, if you hit them and you make progress, or you're off a little bit and not, macros, that's like a couple percentage different. Where your most important thing is going to be your calorie goal. So like if you're coming to the end of the day and it's like, I've got like 200 calories left, and I have, it all has to be from protein. Well, do your best, but don't stress about it. Just focus more on getting the calories in,
Right.
and do that as your goal, and you'll be just fine.
Yep. And I always tell people, I know Joey and the Perfection Crew. I've not ever participated in the Perfection Crew because I've just not been crazy enough to commit to that yet. But I know the golden rule, so to speak, in the Perfection Crew is 100. Try and get to within 100 calories plus or minus of your goal. And I think that's a great that's a great window to use. So if your calorie goal is 1,800, try to get between 1,700 and 1,900. If you go over a little bit more, personally, I always say it's better to go over than under by too much. Like say if you're in that window, 1,700, 1,650, I'd shoot for some more calories. But if you go to 1,950, I wouldn't stress about that too much.
Unless you're in the Perfection Crew.
Well, right. Unless you're in Perfection Crew, and then I don't even get close to it. I would hit my calorie goal on the button every day just because. So. Yeah, so Joey, how many people are still in that since we brought it up?
We have 89 people.
89. So how many did you lose this week?
Huh?
How many did you lose this week? There was 100 and, what was there last?
We had 119 to start.
Okay.
So this is week 3, so not too bad. Not too bad.
Yeah, that's going good. Good deal. Okay, so that's pretty much where we're at with that. Like I say, just don't beat yourself up over it too bad. It's still early on. You're still learning and working towards it. We do love seeing the excitement over the really cool pie charts. I still get excited, when I hit mine perfect or close to perfect. So definitely keep sharing those. But yeah, don't sweat it if you're a little off. So, and then the other thing that I wanted to touch on, because I think it's kind of important early on. I know a lot of people struggle with this. I know I struggled with this a great deal. Actually, before the call, my wife was asking me what I was going to talk about, and I told her, and she said that's a great subject because we both struggled with it. Fortunately for us, when I decided to start this and do P90X, I asked my wife to join me because I needed her support to do it. And luckily for me, she did. She jumped in with me and did it. But what we started to notice pretty quick into it. I mean, it was probably 2 or 3 weeks in, and we were changing a lot. We were changing the way that we ate, the things that we ate. I was changing the drinks. If we went to somebody's house on the weekend to play cards or something like that, I wasn't packing a 6-pack of beer. I had my bottled water, and I was okay with that. But what we were surprised to find was, and I don't necessarily want to say it was lack of support, but you get a lot of criticism from everybody around you, and a lot of times it's really surprising. It's one thing to post something on Facebook that you're trying to eat healthy and exercise, and you'll get some friends on Facebook saying, why are you doing that, blah 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 blah. And you expect that, but you don't always expect family and your close friends, your personal friends, your real life friends, to criticize the choices that you're making like that. And it happens. We were pretty fortunate. Most of our family was really supportive. We did have friends. You get the, oh, come on, we're out for the weekend. You can live a little. Everybody on this call I know has heard that at least once somewhere along the line. So it's really important to, we always talk about our why. It's really important to, especially early on in this process, to keep your why in your mind all the time. Always be thinking about why you're doing this. You're not doing it for your friends. I guess you might be. I don't know. I shouldn't say you're not, but you're not doing it for those reasons. Most of us have very personal, close to our heart reasons why we're trying to make this change, and that's for us. It's not for anybody else to decide if it's right or wrong for us. But we did get a lot of criticism. Why are you cooking that? Why do I have to grill something special for you when you come over to my house? But don't be afraid. Don't back down, or don't give in. Always plan ahead. If you're going to somebody else's house, plan ahead. Take your own drinks. Take your own food. I always like, now it's easy to look back and say this, but I like to make other people uncomfortable because it makes them think too. But be strong in your, I guess, be strong in your convictions. Be strong in your why. And be passionate about it. You don't have to be annoying about it. You don't have to be rude about it. But explain. If somebody says, why aren't you drinking tonight? Well, explain. Say, hey, it doesn't fit with what I'm trying to do right now, and move on. Somebody had posted in a small group that I'm in earlier today about like enjoying having a few drinks on the weekend, and they're starting to realize that they can do really good through the week, and then they go out with their friends on the weekend, and basically they're starting over on Monday, and that's what happens. You can throw away a whole week's worth of work in one bad weekend. So just remember why you're doing the things that you do, and have conversations. They're your friends. You're hanging out with people, your friends and family, and they're going to ask, why are you doing this? And tell them. Don't be afraid to tell them. You should never ever feel ashamed that you're making the decision to be a part of this group and make the healthy decisions that you're making. But it's just, I guess I just want to make sure that I was really surprised. I was just really surprised by the people that you hear it from and the things that you hear. and it takes some time. You know, it just takes some time to work through, and you got to be strong. My brother-in-law was just super hard on me. I was, you know, he'd always say, "You're my drinking buddy. We got to drink beer together," and blah 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 blah. And how are we going to cook out? And you're not drinking with me. And so I caught a lot of heck, you know, from him, and I was okay. And I knew he, you know, for the most part, was just messing with me. But he still messed, and he messed with me a lot. And then especially through the summer months, he would say things, and there were a couple times when I actually had packed a cooler, and I took, you know, a few drinks with me, and I was gonna make it work. You know, we've all fit stuff like that into our macros and things like that, and he started in on me right when I walked through the door, and so I just put my cooler back, and I didn't even touch it that day. So it's just, you know, it's little things like that you need to, you know, you need to have a solid why, because if you don't, you'll give in to the pressure. It's so easy, you know, especially when you're around friends. It's so easy just to keep doing what you've been doing, and to give in to those things. So don't be surprised when you get kickback, you know, from your friends or family, because it's going to happen. It's, you know, hopefully you get a lot of support, and hopefully the support's greater than the negativity. But there will be some. Have any of the other coaches have experienced that or want to touch on that at all?
I did. I had that happen, especially once I got to a certain weight, and it was not where my goal weight was, and I had people telling me, you know, you don't want to lose any more weight, do you? You're you know, you don't need to lose any more weight. You don't, you know, and then even on top of that, then, you know, when we were at meals and people would be like, you know, they'd see me entering things on my Facebook that you don't need to lose any more weight, you know, and I knew what goals I had, and I didn't let other people dictate what my choices were going to be. And so I just, once again, like you said, Steve, I encourage people just to know what you want, know what you're going for, and don't let other people derail you. Don't let other people dictate what those choices are going to be, because ultimately you need to be. Oh no, I must be gapping here.
Sorry, Kim.
No, that's okay. So yeah. Don't let other people dictate what your choices are going to be.
Yeah, yeah. The haven't you lost enough? I mean, the hope is always to hear that. I'll be honest with you. That one never gets old. It's, you know, that's always a good one. But yeah, it's definitely, it's amazing the things, you know, the things that you hear, and a lot of times it's, you know, it's not about you at all. And I don't know, Kim might have said this in one of the times when she cut out, but it's not about you at all. You know, when you're hearing it from your friends and family, it has absolutely nothing to do with you. It's more about them. You're making them uncomfortable because you're making positive decisions that they're just not ready to make yet, and that makes them uncomfortable. You know, that's what it is, plain and simple. So absolutely. Alan, did you have something there you wanted to add, or?
Yeah, sure. You know, I can always talk, right?
Absolutely. That's why I went to you.
You know, and one thing to keep in mind is, you know, when you encounter that, you know, just say, you know what, you know, I feel like I'm doing what's right for my own health. You know, I'm trying to eat a healthier diet at an appropriate calorie goal, actually being accountable to what I'm doing. And I feel like this is the best thing for me to do. And, you know, I could really use your encouragement and help. And, you know, if they still give you grief about that, then, you know, it you know, like what Steve said, that really says more about them, you know, because people get uncomfortable when they see someone trying to better themselves, and they're not doing it. And it's not just weight loss either, because, you know, I've been reverse dieting, so I'm actually eating quite a bit right now, and I'm trying to build muscle, so I'm eating like 3,200 calories per day now, and quite often I get people coming up like, oh my gosh, that is such a big lunch or whatever. How could you eat that much? Like all this big container of rice. And they're like, oh my goodness, you can't eat that many carbs. I'm like, I can and I do, and I'm not gaining weight. So.
Right.
So, it's not just, losing weight. It's any time you're doing something different than the norm.
Yeah.
People will let you know their opinions about it, whether you want them or not. But just to say, I'm going after a goal right now, and it's what I feel is the right thing to do for me, and I can use your support on this. And if they're your friend, they'll understand, and then they'll be supportive. Unless they just like to mess with you or they're a jerk. And either way, you just have to deal with it or kind of ignore them a little bit.
Yep. Good stuff. Let's see. Joey, you got anything you want to add there, or Justin?
I'm about the same here. I mean, you're just kind of dealing with certain types of people. Like you said, I think a lot of them are kind of jealous that you're actually going down this road, and we all know it's a hard road to go down, and you're succeeding, and people are jealous of that. So.
Yep. Absolutely. All right. Well, Joey, do we have any questions, or Alan, are you on there? Is there anybody posting any questions? Anything in the group?
No, I just looked through the questions. I just looked through the post. I'm not seeing any questions at all.
Nothing? Okay. I feel like we should talk about something else because I don't actually want to keep a call under 30 minutes. Lance never does, so. Anybody else have a subject they want to touch on or they want me to talk about? Throw something out there. Nothing.
Guess we could always talk about.
Oh, Justin's got something. Go ahead.
We could always
Justin.
talk about, I'm sure everybody has a question. What's the latest time in the evening you can eat? That's usually a good one. It's usually a common one.
I don't think there is necessarily a rule on that. I know Joey likes to have his late night protein snack before he goes to bed. I personally, of course, it's almost my bedtime now, but I go to bed about 9:30, typically at the latest. So I generally try and have my last whatever I'm going to have, which is typically a Quest bar, around 8. So I get about an hour and a half before I go to bed without anything. That's just me personally. That's what works for me. I wouldn't eat a heavy meal and then crash for the night, but some people, I suppose their schedule has to. Yeah.
I think I recall. I think Lane Norton was talking about there was research studies looking at different. I don't remember if this is in people or in rats, but it was in the same diet but just allocated differently in time. And the group that had a late carb meal in the day, there was really no difference between the other group that front loaded their carbs. So really, I don't think it makes a difference. If it did, it would be pretty small, I would imagine. But as long as you're within your calories and macros, I mean, you should be good to go. And with me, I'm eating a lot right now. Sometimes it's like, I have 400 more calories to go, and it's bedtime in an hour, so it's time to have a snack. And I haven't noticed anything. But one thing to consider is if you're doing a real early morning workout, like you roll out of bed and hit your workout like what I do, sometimes a late night snack the night before can be good to help fuel you up for the morning workout.
Right. Yeah, I'm with you, Alan. I've never I've not noticed a difference. I mean, unless I just don't eat. You know, if I eat dinner at 5:30 or something, and then I just don't eat anything the rest of the night, you know, you're probably going to feel that, especially, you know, like we work out early in the morning. But I don't have any issues. I've not noticed that it affects my weight. I mean, you know, tonight it's going to be whatever time we're done with this call, and I'm going to smash a Quest bar and go to bed, and it won't really affect me one way or the other. So I think as long as you're eating, you know, eating for a purpose, you know, and just not eating a bag of popcorn and going to bed, or, you know, grabbing the Ben and Jerry's, I think you'll be fine. So yeah, I think everything's good there. So
yeah, and I
good
think
question, Justin.
where people get into trouble with that is the non-regulated late night snacking, where, you know, like Steve mentioned, you sit down with a bag of chips and it disappears, and obviously, you know, that's a lot of calories. So if you're staying within your goals, I really don't think it matters.
Yep, absolutely. I'm trying to think of anything else that we see a lot of the same question posted in the group. Joey, still no questions from anybody, or? Man. I guess my milkshake doesn't bring everybody to the yard like Lance's does, so. No? Yeah. Anybody else have a question? Or I don't feel like I feel weird ending the call already.
So, you know, you can brag to Lance. My first call was like 25 minutes.
That's how we run this.
We do have a question.
Uh-oh, here we go.
Chrissy has asked, is there a website cookbook you guys use to find new ideas for your meals? I'm looking for new great choices.
Yeah, Google. No, there's not one specific site. I will say, for me personally, one of my favorite. Actually, I really like YouTube because I'm not a big reader. I'm more of a watch and then do kind of guy. But for me, oh, now I'm going to draw a blank. Michael Corey, Michael Corey Fitness on YouTube. He has a really good channel. I've been following him. Gosh, he's a pretty young kid when he first started his channel, but he's actually into bodybuilding. But a lot of his early recipes were high protein, lower carb and fat. So he's kind of transitioned his channel a little bit now to kind of focus on the bodybuilding side of things, and he does a lot of lifting videos and things like that. He does still do a lot of recipes, and his videos are really, really well done. And there's a couple others out there on YouTube that I really like. As far as recipes, I mean, I just Google, you know, whatever I'm looking for. So if it's, you know, a chicken recipe, you know, just Google it, and you know, you're going to have to look at the ingredients of the recipes, and it's going to be a lot of trial and error. The great thing, at least for me personally, is I love to cook. So I like to look at a recipe and then try and see how I can change it to make it fit what I'm trying to do, and where my macros are at the time. But yeah, I just Google stuff. I know Lance has a few recipes on his website, and I know we're actually doing a really cool thing now. Every Saturday, one of the coaches is sharing one of their favorite recipes. So we're going to have a lot of awesome recipes from all over the place, from all the coaches. So we're going to have a really nice database there for recipes. But yeah, really just get out on the internet. I don't know. Does anybody have a specific site that they use to find new recipes or anything, or do you guys just pretty much do the same, just search?
I still like to use eatthismuch.com.
Eatthismuch.com, okay.
Yeah, because it gives you ideas for macros.
Oh, okay. I'll check that one out. Thanks for sharing.
Mm-hmm.
I use Spark Recipes. It's really nice because you can search via like low carb or low fat, just depending, you know, if you're in a pinch for like dinner or something, say something falls through, then you can, you know, hop on there real quick research a recipe via, you know, say you're high on fat for the day, you can search low fat. You can search high protein. So it's really nice. I've found probably 60% of everything that I cook every day through there.
Nice. Yeah, I think I've seen you share that website a couple times. So, and I know for me, I've got a binder where I've printed up recipes, through the years now, and I'll keep them. But honestly, I've got about 6, go-to recipes that I don't need to, look up the recipes. And then you'll tweak them a little bit here, add something there, depending on what you got or what you're feeling, for the night. But I'm not changing the menu, every week. It's we're pretty much eating, not, I don't want to say the same things because we're not robots, but I mean, we've got 5 or 6 recipes that we pretty well cycle through, and every now and again. I know the other night I made some pancakes, protein pancakes, of course, but I made those over the weekend, and that's not something I cook every week because it's a fair amount of preparation. It's not quick and easy. It's not over the top, but it takes a little bit more time than I generally have. So I do try and keep things easy. As much as possible. So generally, once you get into it, you'll find that you're going to have a handful of recipes that are going to be your go-to recipes, and yeah. So I know I saw Greg was grilling 10 pounds of chicken on the grill tonight, and had some other things going. That's always huge. Everybody down here does that at one point or another. I know I go and buy 10-pound bags of chicken breasts, and I'll cook those up on a Sunday, and we'll eat those, eat on those, and that's just what you do. So, yeah. So good stuff. Good question there. And if you ever need help or need a recipe, always ask. Somebody's going to share a recipe in the group. Everybody's always willing to share and help out. So.
Couple other things.
Okay.
First one is, let me find it again. So Karen McGranahan, I think that's how you pronounce her last name. She has 30 burpees to do, just an FYI. And want to remind everybody about the retreat that's coming up in April.
Yeah.
April 23rd through the 26th.
Thank you for sharing the date. I was just getting ready to ask. Yeah, it's going to be really exciting. I haven't had a chance to talk to Lance about it lately, but I know he's working on getting it put together. Some of the local coaches, I'm sure he's going to get us involved in helping to set everything up. So I do know I actually have to make a call. I've been kind of putting it off because I've got a vacation coming up, so I've been working on planning that. I know we're going to have a base camp on Saturday, somewhere around the stadium where the race starts and finishes from. So we're going to have a base camp where everybody can meet up, and drinks, and hopefully the weather's nice and we can hang out there and make the day of it. But we're going to have the grills out and some games and make it a kind of a tailgate party afterwards. But I think it's going to be a good time. Everybody's looking forward to it. I know there's a lot of excitement. How many people do we have now, Joey? Do you know the count of how many are coming? It's quite a few.
Right now we have 89 people signed up on the page, and then but that's not including the locals. So
yeah. So yeah, it's going to be it's turned into a pretty huge event. Hopefully all goes well, and everybody, or at least some people, want to come back and make it an annual thing. That'd be really cool. For those that don't know, it is centered around the Illinois Marathon, which has become a pretty huge event here in Central Illinois. It's a Boston qualifier, so for anybody that runs full marathons, you can run here and qualify for the Boston Marathon. But it's a great weekend. It's grown every year that they've had it. If you're a runner, the course is flat and fast every year. It's a great course. They've made some changes to the 5K this year, so instead of just one big group start, they're starting in waves this year. so it'll be a little less congested than it has been in the past. 10K, half K, or half K. That's my speed right there, half K. The 10K, half marathon, and the full marathon Saturday. So it's going to be a good time. Yeah, I don't know how many locals there are. I know there's quite a few of us that haven't posted in there, but we're going to have a huge group planning a workout, big group workout on Friday, and then the races will start Friday night. So it's going to be an awesome time. I know Lance is really excited. Yeah, half K. Thanks, Justin. Yeah, so looking forward to it. It's going to be a good time. So yeah, and you had something else there, Joey?
I am posting the retreat link right now.
Awesome.
People are asking for it.
Okay. I did have someone ask, which everybody's going to laugh when I post this, or say this, but somebody said people are always asking where the files section is. It's in there. It's at the top of the page. If you're on one of these old-fashioned boxes that we call a computer, it's a lot easier to find because it's going to say files right at the top of the page. If you're on your mobile phone, it's a little bit more tricky, but you're going to click at the top of the page here. All right, can you see that?
No.
Lance tried one week and it didn't work. Anyway, so you're going to click at the top of the page in your app, and then it's going to list you'll see the files there. So I think that's why people struggle with that, because they look at the main page on their phone and they don't see anything that says files. If you're on your phone at the top of the page, click the banner. It's going to take you to another page, and you'll see the files section. That's where you're going to find a lot of the nutrition stuff that we post, recipes that we post. That's where all the sign-ups are for all the small groups. So if you're not yet involved in one of our small groups, we highly recommend them. We do know that the big group can get a little congested at times. Joey does his best to like every single post in the big group, but some do slip it past him every now and again. The small groups is where we really get our focus. I think we get a lot more personal in the small groups, and it's nice to be talking just to people that are doing the programs that you're doing. Don't leave the big groups. The big group is great because you're still seeing everybody's activity. The activity in the big group is absolutely amazing this year, and I think everybody's doing pretty well with it, but I do know that it can get overwhelming. So find the Files tab. I just told you how to find it. Go in there and find your small group that works for you, and get registered, get signed up on one of the small groups.
Just real quick to go over that as well. If you want to figure out how to find the Files tab, please watch the orientation video. It talks about how to find the Files tab. It talks to you about the small group signups. So please go through all that. And if you want to post any questions in the group, and it kind of slips through the cracks, go ahead and tag Steve Sample. He will be happy to answer them for you.
And every time I'm tagged in the next 24 hours, Joey does burpees. Oh, I shouldn't have said that. That was wrong. Sorry, Joey. Joey's doing burpees all weekend.
I think we're pretty good, though, on questions. I'm going to check one more time. Yeah, I think we're okay, except for Justin.
Poor Justin. All right, well, I guess if nobody else has anything to add, Kim's having her snack there, sneaking that in, thinking we're not watching. So she's trying not to chew now, too. She's like... All right. Guys, thank you for tuning in tonight. Get connected, post in the group. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. Thanks for all the questions. Keep up the good work, and we'll talk to you guys next week. Have a good night.
Bye, guys.
Night, guys.